from yesterday's work. So I have a triangle over here. This might look familiar. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to review a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle real quick with you. If you recall, if it's a 45, 90, this angle would also be 45 here. So on the shorter sides, which are congruent, since these angles are congruent, this value would be x, this value would be x, and then the hypotenuse, to find the hypotenuse, you would take this side and you would multiply it by square root of 2 or radical 2. So if this was 5, this would be 5 times radical 2. So then let's solve this triangle, because this triangle is a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. So if this is 45, this is 90, and this is 45, then they gave me, since this 90 is over here, y is the hypotenuse, because it's across from the 90 degree. So they gave me the shorter leg, so then x would be congruent, so this would be 8. So my x would equal 8. So then to find the longer or the hypotenuse side, I would just have to multiply 8 times radical 2. And that would be it for that one. So that hopefully was pretty easy for there. Okay, so that was an easier one. Okay. It's when you have to go backwards, which is the example I'm going to do next, which it gets kind of funky. So I'm going to scoot this over just a tad here, make it a little bit easier to see. Not at the door handle. So this is my 30-60. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to back up just a minute because we didn't do SOHCAHTOA very much. So let's say, since we didn't find any trig values for last night's homework and we're going to do it today, let's say this is angle A and I want to find the sine of angle A. So let's say I want to find the sine of angle A. So this is angle A, so let's label it. Well, I know that this is my hypotenuse, so I would give it an H. So then if I want to find this is adjacent to angle A, so this would be my adjacent side, and this over here would be my opposite side. So sine means opposite over hypotenuse. So I would go here 8 over, and then my hypotenuse, which is y, would be 8 square root of 2. So far, that's my sine. Okay, well, I could simplify that a little bit. So I know that my 8's can cancel out, so that gives me 1 over square root of 2. And yesterday we learned we can't leave a radical in the denominator. So if I want to rationalize the denominator, and let's do the math over here, I would go 1 radical 2 times radical 2 over radical 2. So 1 times radical 2 would give me radical 2. Radical 2 times radical 2, or square root of 2 times square root of 2 is the square root of 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. So this would be the sine of angle A. That would be the sine of angle A. Okay? So we got to practice that. So then let me go over here. Let's do this one. So let's review our rules for a 30, 60, 90 triangle. You need to find the shorter side first. The shorter side, of course it looks obvious, is always across from the smallest angle. So my shorter side is, there's 30 degrees, would be here. This is your x. Then the hypotenuse is always twice the smallest side. So this would be, there's my hypotenuse, this would be 2x. And then across from the 60 degrees, you take the smallest side and you multiply it by the square root of 3. So that's the rules for a 30, 60, 90. And we're going to use this a lot. We're going to use it when we create the unit circle. So now when I come over here to this example, and this might look familiar, it's from last night's homework, okay? So if I put a 30 here, because that's 90, that's 60, so it has to be 30. So I'm looking and I go, I gotta find my smallest side first. Well, across from the 30, that's my smallest side. So what did they give me? They gave me across from the 60. They didn't even give me my hypotenuse. So this is where it gets tricky. So watch what I'm going to do here. I've got across from my 60. So I've got x times the square root of 3. I need to find my shorter side. I need to find my shorter side. So I need to go from here to just find what x equals. Well, look, I need to go from here to here. How do you get rid of the square root of 3? Right here, it's x times the square root of 3. I just want x. Well, what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So I have to divide by the square root of 3 to get to x all by itself. So, to get this 20 from larger to smaller, I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. So that's going to be to here. So to get from 20 to here, it's going to be 20 divided by the square root of 3. Probably shouldn't have written it there. And then I'm going to rationalize the denominator. So y equals 20 square root of 3 over 3. That's what y is. So now to find my hypotenuse, well, I'm going to look over here. To find my hypotenuse, I just double this. Double it means you just multiply it by 2. Well, let me make it a fraction so you can see how simple that's going to be. So, well, 3 times 1 is still 3. 20 times 2 is 40, radical 3. So that's your whole answer right there. That's your answer. So that would be her hypotenuse. 40 radical 3 over 3. And again, these do not cancel out. It's tomatoes and oranges. They're not the same. Okay? They are not the same. So just for practice, let's say right here, let's say I want to find, let me make this an easy one if I can. Let me circle this. And let's say I want to find the tangent, let's call this angle B. Let's say I want to find the tangent of angle B. Tangent is TOA. Tangent, TOA. So I want to find the tangent of angle B. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So opposite would be 20 radical 3. Oops, I didn't make it easy. Over adjacent would be 20. And I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to simplify it now because I don't want to blow your mind on that one. I wouldn't give you one that right there because we actually have to divide by the reciprocal, and so I don't want to do that now. So that's not simplified, but that would be opposite over adjacent, because I'm not going to give you one on your homework like that right now. So let's just say that's set up, but it's not simplified. That was a bad example. Shame on me. And I'm not going to redo the video again. Okay, last example. Okay, so this is one of your puzzles tonight. And the reason I'm showing you this on your puzzle, it's a really simple puzzle because they're not making you rationalize the denominator. They're going to let you leave your answer without even having to do a lot of work. So this is number 16 on your puzzle, and I wrote down SOHCAHTOA for you just in case you forgot. And you look at your notes. So they're going to ask for angle B, all 3 of these examples. So I'm going to circle angle B. I'm going to label, which is what you should do when you get your triangle. So I know this is my hypotenuse because it's crossed from the right angle. Then from angle B, you got to use the angle they give you. This is adjacent. This is opposite angle B. So I'm going to label first. Now it's going to make this easy peasy to do. So the sine of B, sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. See how easy it is when you label it? So that'd be 7 over square root of 58. And on the puzzle, they let you leave it like that. So I don't want you to freak out when you don't see the answer. They let you leave it like that. Shame on them. Okay, cosine of b. Ka. Adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse. 3 square root of 58. And then tangent TOA. Opposite over adjacent. 7/3. Remember, some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on apples. Okay, and that's it for today. Bye. Peace.